is Audrey Hamilton. I am the entrepreneurial assistant. I am a project manager, a business coach, and a network marketer. Tonight with me, I have Jay Lee, who is also known as the Sales Ninja. So Jay, do you want to tell us just a little bit about yourself and what you like to do and stuff?
Yeah, sure. There's a lot of things I've done, but just to give the quick and easy, it's a former introvert, a former banker with one of the largest banks here in Toronto, Canada, and former pastor for over 10 years. So a lot of different things that I've done and hats that I've worn. Basically grew up in an immigrant family where there was no free handouts. So you had to always work hard for what you did, and trying to earn the approval of parents was a constant challenge. So trying to be excellent at music or trying to be excellent at school or sports was the kind of life that I grew up in. So work ethic is something I learned from my parents. And long story shorter, I pivoted to high ticket sales, which is basically selling for coaches that were selling a high ticket offer of like 3, 5, 10K or more, and found that, I had a knack for it, and people started to ask me how to sell without sounding salesy, which is, not an easy feat to do. But I learned how to do that over time, because even as a pastor for 10 years, clearly that wasn't for the money or making money. So I learned a lot about the servant leader and the heart-centered leader. And so currently, that's what I do, which is high-ticket sales coaching, which is helping coaches, course creators, and online entrepreneurs sell like crazy without sounding salesy and sleepy and having boring offers that people wouldn't want. So that's what I do, and that's who I am.
That's really cool. I really like that, because it needs to be taught to how to sell without being sleazy. I know too many people, honestly, that kind of do that kind of stuff, and it's kind of sad. And everything, just how their messaging goes when I'm on calls with them. My least favorite is them saying you can't do something without them. Frankly, like
It's
them
like
actually
a threat.
down. Yeah, it's the more threatening kind, and it's not nice. And so that's what I really liked. I was in one of your workshops, and how you did it was not pertaining to that at all, and that's what I absolutely loved. So if any of you are looking for a sales coach, definitely let him know, because he's like really good. I really learned a lot from that one, and I keep meaning to go back. It's just life's crazy.
Thank you very much.
So how long have you been in business?
That's a trick question. For the sales coaching, I launched it January of 2022. So that was last year, January. But learning and acquiring the skill sets is probably over 15 years. In the banking that I was in for 5 years, I was in national sales for credit card services. So I would, and then my education is in science and business, particularly marketing and sales. So there's a lot of different kinds of training and experience throughout. But if you were to ask me in high ticket coaching for sales, that was January of only 2022, which was last year.
That's really, really cool. And roughly about the same time I started this business. I started February 1st.
Oh, there you go. So it seems like yesterday, right?
Yep, exactly. It's been a great ride. So what got you more into the high ticket sales stuff? I remember you having more of a story behind that, and I wouldn't mind you sharing.
Yeah, sure. I think part of it was out of desperation, and the other part of it was trying to provide for my family. As a pastor for 10 years, I had to raise my support. So if in the church world or the missionary world, they have to raise their salary. So just like when you sponsor a child for World Vision, a missionary or someone like myself in the organization that I was in, I had to raise my own salary support. And that dwindled down towards the end of my ministry. And I asked God, I asked mentors, I asked, supervisors, what next, what kind of opportunity? Because I never had any plan to come out of pastoral ministry or church planting, which is helping start churches. But he had a different plan for me. And I basically met with 3 different people from different parts of the world that didn't know where my life was going and what my story was and what I was facing with my finances. But each of the 3 of them really told me that they were hearing God saying something about going into the marketplace, which basically means going into the business world. And one person in particular was saying, when you get in front of these founders and CEOs and these entrepreneurs, as soon as you walk into the boardroom, everyone's going to stop speaking and they're going to watch you and they're going to notice you and they're going to listen to every single word that you have, because you're going to drop so much value and so much help or advice that it's going to revolutionize and exponentially grow their businesses to like exponential amounts. And I was just like, I was a pastor, and when I heard this, I was in the University of Calgary, and I thought they were talking about my banking years from prior. But I'm like, that's not where I feel like I'm going back into the corporate space. So I thought, they lost their marbles when they were telling me this stuff. But 3 of them at different places from, one was from Singapore, one was from Calgary, and the other one was from Toronto. They were all telling me like the same thing, that you're going to probably go into that space and you're going to really help people transform their lives. So I was just like, pray through it. And then before I got into high ticket sales, because I was running out of money, I did a newspaper route where I think I was making $100 a month or something ridiculously low. And that wasn't enough to make ends meet with, wife and 3 kids living here in Toronto. And then I answered, I think it was a paid ad, not answered. I saw a paid ad, and I saw some business growth coach that was really helping grow a lot of companies and help them grow and scale. And then because I was really desperate and thinking, man, I would love to get a job with this guy, I sent a video on LinkedIn, I believe. I DM'd him completely cold, ice cold DM. And I said, and if it was someone like you, I say, hey, Audrey, I see that you're growing in your business and you help, transform other entrepreneurs' lives. I love what you're doing. I love your content. I would love to, have the opportunity to work with you to help continue your success by becoming your right-hand man. And, there's probably not a lot of reason why you would pay attention to me, because I'm a pastor and I don't have the skill sets that that you probably need from me, but I'm willing to learn and I'm willing to do what it takes to help you in anything that you need. That's kind of like what the message was in my video. And so there was hunger, there was drive, there was fire, and there was desperation. And within, I think, 30 or 40 minutes, he DM'd me back and he basically said, you're crazy. Like, who do you think you are to kind of reach out to me? I think he was stuck at $50,000 months. He was doing quite well. And he got on a Zoom call with me and he said, you got a lot of guts to be able to reach out to someone like me, because I usually, hand pick or select people that are already qualified, experienced, have that hunger and fire. And I'll give it to you. You've got fire, you've got hunger. So if you're going to put your money where your mouth is, and actually I didn't even know, but he actually lived downtown Toronto in this penthouse suite, living this, luxury lifestyle. And he asked me to come to his penthouse suite the next day and basically challenged me. If you are serious about this, then come to my penthouse. And I'm like, I'll be there. Give me your address. And then part of me was like, am I going to get kidnapped? Am I going to, is it going to be one of those Kijiji, Craigslist, Facebook marketplace where you go and you get abducted and you get, kidnapped or murdered or whatever? I had no idea, but I took a risk and I ended up going to his place for at least 3 months every single day and just absorbed and learned and listened. And I took a lot of notes. My hands were like just sore and I was just taking like massive action. So what I think normally would have taken 3 to 6 months to go through his program, I think I did it in 11 days.
Nice. That's really cool. Yeah, that's really, really cool. And I like that you reached out to him. You did a complete cold, but I know myself too. I'm not quite that gutsy. I can't do that. I can, but it's like I have to put my money where my mouth is, and I was
Hmm.
just telling you beforehand, with my 2 kids and me
Yeah,
watching them, I can't do that,
yeah,
quite
yeah. Of
frankly, I
course.
can't, but it is really cool to hear that, and you can do that kinda stuff. It shows that you're willing, it shows you're desperate, it shows that you're ready to take action, and a lot of people do respect that, and they admire it, and so it's cool that that's what got you into it.
It's amazing what can drive you when you're desperate and you're hungry and you're trying to provide for your family, because the motive, when it's love and people that you love, you'll do anything, right?
Yep,
You know this, being a mom of two
exactly.
young kids.
Yeah. Yep, yep. So, what is one tip that you would share for anyone that is just getting into business or somebody who's also more experienced? What's a sales tip or something?
Oh, there's so many things, but if I were just to pick one, if you want to get better at sales, um, it's staying curious, staying really curious. And while you're being curious, it means that you're an active listener, a good listener, not just to try to pitch, not just try to sell, not just to try to close. But when you stay curious with their best interest in mind, which is that servant leadership and that heart centered leader, as I mentioned earlier, you will close a lot more sales when you learn how to stay curious and ask really good questions, um, and really keep them. I know this is really hard for people to do, whether coaches, entrepreneurs, and closers, because typically they're taught to close hard and close aggressive, and to not really um, listen to what they're saying, but just to get them, enrolled, if you will. I teach almost the entirely opposite thing, which is, if they're not a good fit, if you don't think that you can help them succeed, disqualify them, saying, "Hey, Audrey, right now, you talked about copywriting as part of your biggest challenge. That's not my specialty. And I know you're interested in all these other aspects of my business, but if copywriting is the main bottleneck for you, even though I can help you in the other areas, I don't feel like we'd be a good fit, because it's not going to be the best investment for you." So I know a really
Mm,
good copywriter that I'm working with, or that my colleagues and clients are working with, that I like to refer you to. If that's the biggest challenge that you're facing, would that be okay if I make that referral?
yeah. Yep, yep. But yeah, making sure you send them to the exactly what they need is important.
Yeah,
But like you
and then
said, a lot of
and
people
disqualifying
close too
people
hard.
if they're not the right people, or the right person, or the right fit. And you will come across people, and people who are watching this, where not only are they not the right fit, they may become your nightmare clients. Where
No.
I
What?
listen, yeah, yeah. I just talked to another person, and they said, "Since I'm paying this, you will do this for me, you will do that for me, you'll be available at these times for me." And they did it, and they got harassed and traumatized and abused. And I had people coming in calls, like, similarly, to try to take control in that way. And I just said, "Listen, this is not going to work out. If you're treating people this way, there's no way that you're going to be a good fit for this program."
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So what you said you were a pastor
Hmm.
previously. I
Hmm.
am curious as in your viewpoint of money with that. We have in this group, we have quite a few Christians and
Mm.
stuff, but I know myself that like I've gotten some backlash because I've said I've started a business. And I know quite a few other people who's gotten the same kind of thing, like people saying basically, are you not happy with what God has given you? Why do you feel the need to start a business? Why do you feel the need to do more? So I just kind of wanted to see what your kind of viewpoint was on that.
Yeah, that's a very hot topic, and sensitive one, depending on how you were brought up. I think for me, um, my worldview has been, immigrant family. Nothing came easily. Christian family. Parents of faith. When they knew that, or understood that I was going to go from banking and corporate world to pastoring, they were not the biggest fans because they had left their country to sacrifice for us to have a better life and, to be able to make more money than they were able to. So going into pastoral ministry was like almost like a vow to poverty. So money, materials, all those things were things like, you shouldn't own this, you shouldn't own that, you shouldn't give the optics that you like money or that you like nice cars or that you have a big home and all these things. So remain humble. So it's almost like do the opposite so that you don't give people the idea that you might be greedy. And so in the Bible, in that, I think that's where we need to look if we're going to be talking about this topic. What does the Bible say? So is money, are there things wrong with it? Well, no, there isn't. But the love of money is the root of all evil. And you look at, movies and superheroes. I was just watching this, lesson where it was saying, it's so interesting how superheroes are depicted as these amazing superheroes, and in their real lives, which is their normal 9 to 5 day, Superman, who is one of the strongest men on the planet, is a reporter, and he's struggling. And then you have Spider-Man, who is also struggling, and their villains are multi-billionaires. And so it's almost like people are conditioning, even in society, that heroes and people who are doing good are poor, and people who are evil are making a lot of money. Anyway, so back to the point of like, what do I feel about it? I feel like I've been raised up that money is no good, and owning materials and materials and possessions is not godly. But when I look at scriptures, I see that Priscilla and all these women of God, women of faith, and just 95% of your audience is women. We could not do anything without women, and Jesus needed women in ministry, women in the marketplace who were able to fund, who were able to be tent makers, who were able to resource projects, food, mobilize, and I think, there are people who are wealthy or rich and can be men and women of faith that can do greater things for God. So my view is, the more that we can make, the more that we can give. The more that we can generate in terms of wealth, the more that we can transform the world. So my whole motto as a sales ninja is sell more so that you can give more. So there's no reason why we couldn't be making, hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars, tens, hundreds of millions of dollars to help end generational poverty, to help stop child trafficking, to help bring clean water, to build orphanages, and so on and so forth.
I like that. And it's true. The more we make as Christians, we should be able to give more. Even if we only give the 10% that, or what I believe to be the 10% that is said in the Bible in Exodus, I think, or something, then even then, the more we make, the more we're able to give. But yeah, I like that. Thanks for sharing about that. I just thought that some people, sometimes I believe that there's limiting beliefs. And as Christians, because of like what you said, we're raised up to be humble, that we shouldn't be wanting for material, we shouldn't be wanting money and stuff like that. It kind of holds us back in our businesses. When it's okay, as long as we don't let it be the sole priority, we should be able to give and return and help more people with it.
Yeah.
So
I agree. And I think one thing that my wife and I have been able to do in the last year with this business is give more in 1 year than we have in our entire lives. Right. So
nice.
if 12 months of how growing and thriving business where we're making money can help fund, we were able to fund more missionaries. We were able to give more to the local church. We were able to help more people in need, way more than we have our entire lives. So that's been an incredible joy.
That's nice. I do want to let anyone know that's watching, if you guys have any questions for him, please let us know in the comments. I am watching and moderating the comments and stuff, but make sure you guys say hi or ask questions and just let us know we're here, that you're there. So Can you tell us a little bit more about your program? You gave us a little bit about what you do and stuff, but I know you have a program, if you wanna give more detail on that. I also vaguely remember when I was in your workshop, you said you had, like, some kinda system?
Yeah, we have different things. It's a whole kind of process and system that help people grow their businesses. And just for people who are kind of wondering, who am I, what I do? In pastoral ministry, I've been able to grow churches and ministries pretty quickly. And in the corporate space, I've been able to help grow coaches, entrepreneurs, and tech founders. Typically 5 to 10xing them in 12 months or so, depending on where they were in their business. But in terms of the program and what it looks like, there's a bunch of steps. I'm a systematic guy, and I try to think, what does it take to help people to, if it's a monetary goal to hit $10,000 a month, or $100,000 a month, or $1 million a month. And I've actually worked with all, which is actually the first tier is zero, which is not making anything and launching. And the second tier is, hitting that $10,000 barrier per month, 100,000, and then 1 million. So I've actually helped people in all four of those stages, and built and reversed a system that helped people hit each of these different milestone markers. So the program consists of taking your superpower or your zone of genius, and then identifying an offer, an irresistible offer. Alex Hormozy talks about the $100 million offer to help clarify, to give you that confidence, to help you to close, to get you more clients in cash. That's a lot of C's. I was a pastor, so that's probably like a 5C sermon or whatever, how many C's there are in there. But the important thing is laser focusing on their ideal client avatar, creating one offer, and simplicity scales. That's kind of like stage one. And then we test, iterate until it resonates and monetizes. We don't move forward until that happens, because imagine marketing to the masses and sending all these email blasts and all these stories and calls to action without even knowing what your offer is. That would be like, shooting darts at no target. Step two is branding. So in order for you to become an attractive client magnet, it's important for you to set your branding, whether it's your logo, your name, how people should address you. The Sales Ninja, sell more to give more. One of my other mottos is sales without faith is dead. So I try to bring my faith and my belief in God into, when you believe in yourself and you believe in your solution, then you can sell more so that you can give more. So the second stage is branding, to make sure that your branding is on point so people can recognize you. And as you build the brand, people recognize the brand, then people will resonate with you. And then the third stage is a Facebook group to help grow and monetize it. The stage 4 after that is social proof and authoritative expertise, to make sure that people know that you can actually help them bridge the gap between where they desire to go and where they're currently at. And then with that is doing organic strategies to be able to generate calendar appointments for sales calls. And then last but not least is being able to sell more to give more. And so that's my sweet spot, is like taking all these pieces, and then once these people come into your calendar, you can really offer them to that heart-centered leadership, really good questions to help them take them from their pain to where their desire and their dream state is. So kind of take that whole process to help grow and scale businesses from 10, 100, or $1 million months.
That's really cool. Okay, I just gotta know. I'm still kind of stuck still at certain
Okay.
points. I'm not going to share what's
Yeah.
point, but
Yeah.
it always, if you're making 100,000 months,
$100,000
how many
months.
programs? Yeah, $100,000 months. How much
Yeah.
would you have to do with coaching and stuff for you?
Yeah,
And
that's a
stuff,
great
or
question.
for anyone? I'm like, how many people could you actually handle a day? Because for me, I don't know how many I would be able to handle. I'm just getting more into the coaching point.
Yeah.
So I'm
So
like,
if you're in a one-to-one space, then it's going to be impossible to grow and scale beyond whatever your
mhm.
bandwidth is. Um, the coaches that I was closing and selling for, many of them were at the $100,000 or $1 million a month. So anywhere from 100, 250, 500, $1 million a month. So I was a part of that team, and several teams like that where they were multiple 2 Combo Club award winners. And so I saw the processes, I saw the systems. When you're at this level, typically, I'll give one example of many. Actually, this company did scale from 100 to $1 million, $100,000 to $1 million. They had about 20 people that they were working with on their team. By the time they hit $1 million months, they were probably at about 50 staff, because we had monthly town halls. To be able to coach, I think they had over 500 clients, anywhere from 500 to 2,500, depending on the cycle, because they had 3-month programs, they had 6-month programs, they had 12-month programs. The key to growing these businesses was, it's a lot of things, but number one was a really good offer that was simple and scalable, a lead flow that filled calendars. And once they filled their calendars, they can hire closers. And then they can basically, if you want to 5 or 10x your business, you just increase the number of leads and increase the number of sales. And that can pretty quickly 10x your business from 10 to 100K months. Typically, to grow and scale beyond that, people are running paid ads. And they do a percentage formula where if you're making $50,000 to $100,000, they would set aside a budget, where they are basically putting fuel to the fire and filling the calendars and closing more sales. But in terms of how do you coach 100, 500, 1,000 plus people, the key is really making sure that you hire coaches. So at that level, when you're making that kind of money, you can hire a coach, one person a day, for example, or even more. And typically it could be like Organic Mondays, which is lead generation. It could be Tech Tuesdays, right? For any tech issues, if you have systems or funnels or Zapier integrations. Wednesdays could be, social media Wednesdays, right? How do you get more visible? How do you get more engagement? Thursday could be, sales psychology Thursdays. Friday could be fitness and mindset, right? So typically these guys and gals who are doing 7, 8 figures, even 9 figures, typically hire coaches so that they can basically be a one-stop shop. They specialize in their industry, which is like quote unquote health, quote unquote mindset. For me, it's sales. So for me, I'm growing a team where I have a social media person on Wednesdays. I have a tech person on Tuesdays. I'm looking at filling a organic mastery on Mondays. I have a couple of fitness coaches that I could probably use on Fridays, fitness Fridays. And then I do Thursdays, which is tomorrow, the sales masterclass or sales psychology. So we can, in a group setting, I could literally have over 100 people in my Zoom room. And then each of the days, depending on what their needs are and people's availability, they can come and jump in any of the calls each week on any given day. Some programs and masterminds are laid out where someone can get to something almost every day or every day, if that makes sense.
Okay. Yeah. It makes more sense because it's like, how on earth do some of these coaches say that they can make 100K months? And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I'm literally like, how on earth do you even handle that many clients? Because it would be a lot.
Yeah. So they
cool.
do that. And they also have additional staff, if they're really good, where they'll have like an accountability coach and a customer, success coach. That could be one and the same. That could be 2 different things. So there could be an onboarding coach that says, let's say, 50 people 50 people join in a month, right? Which would be amazing. So typically what happens, if you're smaller than, if you have 5 or 10 people joining every month, then you can do one-on-one onboarding. But I know a guy that has 14 businesses and one of his businesses does $500,000 a month. So in terms of onboarding, he'll do a group of 25 to 50 at a time. And he'll do like a, 2-3 hour session, because if you do 50 people, that's 50 hours. You can't do that. So at that level of scale, you have 50 people in a room, and instead of giving them 50 hours, you can give them 3 hours, which is like half a day. And you can really go through some of the cultural DNA stuff, and then Q&A that anyone can get answered. Because in a group of 25 to 50, over 3 hours, they can get their questions answered.
Sounds good.
Mm-hmm. Works.
Yeah. I'm just wrapping my head around it. It does
Yeah,
not
yeah.
help. I've had the equivalent of 6 cups of coffee within the last 2 hours.
Oh, wow. Oh my gosh, that's a lot.
I know. I need to calm down with it a little bit, but I have a late night tonight,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
we got this. But yeah. Okay. I think I got more of an idea for that now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Feel
Thank
free
you
to
very
ask more
much for sharing
questions
about that.
if you need more clarity.
No, I got it now. I just had to kind of wrap my head around a little
It's
bit
a
more
lot.
about that. So
It's a lot.
it's a good
Yeah.
thing though. And I have the replay. So this whole video will be going on YouTube.
Mhm.
It'll go up in the featured section for a while in my group entrepreneurs community. It'll also go in the guides and on my
Awesome.
website. So
Wow.
in case everyone is ever needing it and stuff, go right ahead and go
You're
anywhere.
omnipresent.
I have a lot of places. And
Yeah.
sometime soon I'm also going to be able to go live on LinkedIn.
Wow.
So yeah, we're making headway. We're going places. So what is an impossible goal for your business?
Can you give me
I
an
mean,
example?
you've kind
I
of
saw this
already
question.
achieved the impossible, but
Yeah, that's a great question, because for me, I respond in two ways. Either I don't know what's impossible because I've broken most of the glass ceilings, if that makes sense, in terms of my ability to sell. And I could close $1 million in 12 weeks, right? Part time. So I know some people that's unimaginable. Um, and then the other response is, you tell me what's impossible, and I'll tell you what's possible. Right? It's just you take the impossibility and you break it down into bite-sized pieces. But I guess a stretch goal would be, hitting 100,000 to $1 million months, and to serve over 1,000 clients, would be what I guess your question would deem as impossible, even though I don't see as impossible, because I try to have that mindset that's filled with faith and positivity. I know, people are like, but you got to be realistic, Jay. I'm like, well, I don't operate in the realm of realistic, because
cool.
I'm a dreamer. I'm a futurist in Strengths Finders 2.0. My
We are
primary gifting.
We are entrepreneurs. We are meant to be unrealistic.
Exactly. We're crazy.
Unrealistic, but knowing the steps to make it realistic.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah. Entrepreneurial journey is not an easy feat by any means. And I'm not saying that it's all roses and sunshine. Like, every day is a struggle. Every day is a grind. Every month is a reset, because you have clients that come in and out of your programs. At least the way my programs are structured, it's a 3-month cycle. I have a 12-month VIP program where it's, it is one-on-one, but it's only bi-weekly. And they also get access to the group coaching, but I offer a high enough price where it hurts, and my time and the value and the return on investment is worth it.
That's good. That's very, very good. But yeah. So where do you see yourself at the end of the year?
Yeah, my goal in 2023 is to impact 1,000 clients. My goal last year in January of 2022 was to, when I was launching, I was like, first of all, can I even make this work? And that was a $0 to $64,000 launch in 30 days, and then 100K in 100 days, which is this little puppy here. I don't know if you can see it. My video froze. Can you see this?
We don't. It might be in going and seeing in Facebook, but I'm not here in the
there we go. Sorry.
There we
This
go.
is a 6-figure trophy from one of my mentors. So that was 100K in 100
Nice.
days. So it's a constant reminder that God is keeping me humble. That's what what just happened. So I got the message, God. So yeah, at the end of the year, my goal is to impact 1,000 clients, and I'd love to retire my wife, which is that might be an impossible goal in my business, because being able to replace her income and provide for my family on one, on one person's salary or one person's income, that would be a combination of your question of what is the impossible goal and where would I see myself at the end of the year. I definitely want to, build a business that can provide for my family, that can open our home for our friends in our church and give us more time for our faith, which is, church and ministry. My wife and I are both involved with the music ministry, and leadership and running a young adults house church. So we're quite active. And on top of that, we're very active with our children's lives outside of school. So I help coach their soccer and their volleyball teams. So life is busy, but having the flexibility as an entrepreneur allows me to do that, which is amazing.
Yeah. Yep. And that's another thing. As a parent, too, we want to be a part of our kids' life. And having this free time is amazing. I'm
Mm-hmm.
able to take off during the day mostly to take care of my kids. And then I work at night, but I have that flexibility. But yeah. So is there anything else you would like to add?
Yeah, I just want to encourage you guys because, a lot of times, we may feel discouraged and we may feel like quitting. But, Ed Milet from the book, The Power of One More, I think it's called. I don't know where I put it, but The Power of One More. He talks about, we're one day away from wanting to give up. But if you just put that one rep, if you just put that one follow up, if you just do that one push up, if you just do that one more sales call, we are on the verge of success. And so many people need to hear that, including myself, and constantly, get in front of people that can help us collapse time and accelerate the results. So whether you hire Audrey or myself, please hire a coach, hire someone that can help you get to where you want to go with the results that they're getting, because it transformed my life and it helped accelerate my process. And so really want to encourage you guys and thank you, Audrey, for the opportunity, despite your schedule, despite, you having two young kids, and be a blessing to you and your community.
Thank you so much for coming in. I know that these calls are always late. And for anyone watching, I'm sorry that these are always late, but this is what I can do. And there's always replay up. So,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, I really appreciate you coming on and thank you so much for coming.
My pleasure. Hopefully I'll come again.
Yeah. Yep. We'll definitely have you come back again. If anyone has any questions, even though now that this is basically over, feel free to let us know in the comments and he will reach out to you. Also make sure to book a audit call with him. The link is in the description right up above, or if you're on YouTube, down below and stuff. So just go make sure to book a call with him, see what he can do to help y'all. And if that is it, I hope y'all have a wonderful night. Thank you so much, Jay, for coming on, and we'll have you back again sometime.
Thanks so much, Audrey.
Thank you. Bye.